guys, my name is Alex Bouras. I'm an associate scientist and lab manager in the Brain Tumor Technology Laboratory at Mount Sinai. So today we're going to have a tour, of the research facilities that, the entire Mount Sinai Health System main campus has. So right now we are in the main lobby of the HES building. This is one of the main facilities for research and clinical. So the couple of floors, the second and third floor is for clinical patients, and then the remaining floors are all basic science and translational science research. So as you can see, because of the COVID, you have the extra precautions so that everyone has to sign in. And then let's move a little bit. We're going to the cafeteria. So here we are on the HES 6th floor. As soon as we enter the elevators, this is the lobby area. This is a break room, the break area where you get lunches. So here we have, the offices. Sandra Hattem is operating the entire 5th and 6th floor. She's here every day. There are a lot of labs, basic science and translational science labs that belong, all of them, to Tisch Cancer Institute, which is located on HES 5th and 6th floor. So let's get in. So you see here, benches, trays, packed of, lab supplies. And this is actually our lab, our lab space in HES, Brain Tumor Technology Laboratory, led by Dr. Hatzbanagis, who is a neurosurgeon at Mount Sinai. Here are common areas where we have, 4 degrees, minus 80, minus 20, liquid nitrogen for storage of cells. This is actually our lab, again, cell culture room. You can see we have the incubators here where we have the cells, the hoods where we actually, work on the cells. We have everything that, a cell culture room has to have in order to function properly: centrifuge, cell counters, pipettes, and here is where we're doing all the basic science work involving cells. Here we're in the Imaging Institute facilities at Mount Sinai, state-of-art facilities. So this is the reading room where we read and acquire all the imaging data. This is the bioluminescent imaging room, which use a machine that called IVIS. And then here is the 7 Tesla MRI for small animal imaging. And here is the 9.4 Tesla MRI, which is also for small animal imaging. Here is a micro PET CT. And this is a room dedicated to our lab. Here we perform a lot of surgical procedures on animals, and we have a machine with which we perform magnetic hypothermia therapy for treatment of brain tumors. Here is the Annenberg building lobby area with a Starbucks cafeteria. So right now we are on Annenberg 20th floor, which houses a few neurosurgery labs and also the neurosurgery research room. Here on Annenberg 20th, this is one of the neurosurgery research offices of Dr. Hatzbanagis, who is the director of Brain Tumor Technology Laboratory and professor of biological sciences at Mount Sinai, and site chair of Beth Israel Mount Sinai Neurosurgery. And then here is the main neurosurgery research room. This is where all, most of the research coordinators are working very hard to help, all the principal investigators to submit the grants. And here is Sukana's office. She's a clinical research manager.
Hey everyone, my name is Daniel Rivera. I work in Dr. Konstantinos Hadjipanais' Brain Tumor Nanotechnology Lab, and I'm here to show you today the kind of research that we do at the ICON building at Mount Sinai. So here we are on the 15th floor of ICON, which is where our lab is located. And in addition to having some of the best views on campus, Icon is known for also, similar to Hess and Annenberg, being both a clinical and research building. So this is our lab space in Icon, where we do a lot of our in vitro cell work. And one project in particular that we're working on is something called photodynamic therapy, where we administer light using this highly sophisticated machine here, in combination with various compounds called photosensitizers to have a therapeutic effect. So here we are in our cell culture room. We have a biological hood here for culturing different tumor cell lines that we're working on, as well as a number of incubators. This is actually a shared space, but we have our own dedicated equipment within here. And there are a number of appliances in this room, including a centrifuge, as well as microscopes, cell counters, to perform our research both quickly and efficiently. So in addition to our own lab space, there are a number of other lab spaces which are a part of the neurosurgery department on the Icon 15 floor. And here is one in particular where we have, a number of shared appliances that we have access to, with one being a sophisticated plate reader. So this is the break area of Icon, and it's one of my favorite spots, I think, in all of campus. You have, coffee machines, fridges, and it's a space that is, purely for the researchers on this floor, and you really can't beat the views, and, it's a good place to unwind in the middle of the day.
Hi, welcome to Sinai BioDesign. Follow me. Hello, Anthony.
Hi, my name is Anthony Costa. I'm an assistant professor of neurosurgery at the Mount Sinai Health System and the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai. My research interests primarily focus around biomedical machine learning, data science, artificial intelligence, as well as a needs-based innovation program in medical technologies. I'm currently the director of Sinai BioDesign. We are an early-stage needs-based innovation group housed within the Department of Neurosurgery. Our goal is really to catalyze very early-stage medical technologies, primarily in the area of surgical devices and primarily in the area of neurosurgery. From very early phase conception, where a faculty member, for example, in the department or in another department, has identified a need that they have either in their clinical practice or in with a more global perspective, and they bring that to us, and we think about whether or not we have the tools and resources and skills to really affect some real change and invent a device that meets those particular needs. In doing so, we spend a fair amount of time trying to understand whether or not that device has a market or commercial opportunity associated with it, whether or not it can really be translated outside of the institution in order to make sure that the maximum number of people have access to those technologies and that we have the maximum impact on global patient care in these areas.
Hello, welcome to the machine shop. This room has 2 3D printers and 1 CNC mill. This 3D printer here, the Projet 660, has the capability of printing in multiple colors. This model here demonstrates a tumor that was segmented from the MRI, vessels and skull segmented from a CT model. This can be used for surgeons to orient themselves preoperatively. Additionally, we've created these models, which are phantom models for practicing of drilling, lead placement. It can also be combined with a brain model, which I'll show you later in the chemistry lab. We've been working on a project that involves making human brain models. What we've done is we've 3D printed this is Joe's brain, he's one of our lab mates, and we've created a mold that we can fill with a cryogel in order to make these simulated brain models. If you were here, you could feel that it's squishy and cold and feels similar to a brain, although this one could use a little bit more heat thawing.
We take those innovations once we have matured them to a certain level of sophistication, and we work with our MSIP group, or Mount Sinai Innovation Partners, who are responsible for helping us find a way to translate those technologies outside of the institution, going through the early phase patent process, going through our early phase commercialization milestones, and we take a number of different approaches to those commercial milestones. They can be, in some cases, the formation of a startup company in order to translate a technology that we have done in one of many different areas. An example of that has been successful over the past few years is actually an orthopedic device startup for total knee and total hip arthroplasty, where we actually worked on some artificial intelligence-based technologies and licensed those to that company that we started. Other milestones include translation of the device through a license to a major strategic partner, or perhaps a startup that already exists. And in fact, we support a number of projects that are, in a sense, homegrown, in the sense that they need to be continue to be developed within the halls of Mount Sinai, where we have access to things like animal modeling, early stage animal and feasibility trials that are generally funded by industry and grant dollars. So it's a really exciting program. We work with many throughout the institution, but our focus is on neurosurgery. And as you come into the institution, we really hope to be able to work with you. We also want to make sure that you're aware that we have a fellowship program that we run that is a competitive application process to spend a year with us. And what we do is we take a project that is reasonably mature. So perhaps that's a catheter system that has advanced to the prototyping stage and is ready to take those first commercial milestones of moving it outside the institution. And you become sort of the mini CEO, in addition to some educational work that you do in and around the innovation ecosystem at Mount Sinai and entrepreneurship in the medtech space. That you then take on that project in a real ownership capacity in order to advance the translation of that technology. We've had a couple of fellows through the program that have really helped us advance some of our earliest projects. At least one of which now is ready to move outside the bounds of Mount Sinai, and a number of others that are in the license phase where we're working with major strategics may also be appropriate for a fellow in the future. So I hope that this has been a good introduction to the program for you. Again, my name is Anthony Costa, and please feel free to reach out. We're on the web at sinaibio.design, or you can email me directly, and I'd certainly be happy to answer any questions that you have. With that, thanks very much, and hope to see you in person very soon.